I have given a name to my pain. The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham.
You don't really think you'll win, do you? I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode 5 of the Batman on Film vlog. I am your host and the founder and editor-in-chief of Batman on Film, Jett Ramey. With me today is my Texas compadre, and all that entails when I say Texas compadre, Rick Shew. How you doing, Rick?
Good morning, Bill. I'm doing great. How are you, man?
I'm good. All right, we're going to talk just a few things this morning. You want to start off with Batman, or you want to go right to Star Wars, Last Jedi?
Let's start with we'll start with Star Wars. We'll end it on Batman talk.
All right. So this is not a video review of The Last Jedi. It is just our thoughts on the film since we saw it. Well, we saw it last Monday, and it's out now. This is Saturday morning, and it came out Thursday evening. So, and you've seen it twice now, Rick?
I've seen it twice.
Okay. Both our reviews are posted. I posted mine on Tuesday. Rick waited till he saw it again Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Friday,
and then I wrote
and
then I wrote my review Thursday at 1:30 in the morning, or Friday 1:30 in the morning.
So yeah, Friday is when I actually posted your review. That's why Friday was on my mind. So look, I liked it. I'm not a Star Wars guy. I've seen all the films. I know what's going on for the most part. I'm not steeped in the mythology of Star Wars. I couldn't talk up. I have no business being on a Star Wars podcast or blog or panel, because I would have nothing to add other than, yeah, I like Star Wars. I'll go to see the movies when they come out. But you are a Star Wars aficionado, and you are steeped in the mythology. And so what was your general thoughts on The Last Jedi?
When I saw it on Monday, I walked away with a lot of issues with the film. Nothing happened the way that I predicted, and questions weren't answered the way I wanted them to be answered. And I walked out being very disappointed in it, although I loved lots of aspects about it, so I was just very torn. I thought, gosh, I need to see this again. Right now, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. I had it basically a B, maybe even like a B minus.
The first time?
Yeah, the first time, yeah. And then I saw it again, and just it all gelled. It all came together. Because first of all, your expectations are gone. And look, ever since Luke revealed himself to be, or Vader revealed himself to Luke to be his dad in Empire Strikes Back, we've had these preconceived notions of what a spoiler is supposed to be. The prequels were different because the prequels were flawed in their genesis, in the fact that we already basically knew what was going to happen. It was just watching the story unfold. But since the prequels and this reintroduction, this is all stuff that happens after Jedi, Return of the Jedi. Can't say just Jedi anymore. The Last Jedi now has ruined me just calling Return of the Jedi that I've been calling it for 30 years. But that's a side note. But there's just these preconceived notions, like we have to have a splash, like Vader is Luke's dad and that kind of thing. And I think some people are going in with those kind of expectations, and it may not necessarily be what they wanted. Plus, there's some bold decisions. Rian Johnson has taken this franchise. He shook it out of its complacency. Look, I love the first 2 Disney films, but let's face it, The Force Awakens is great. It's a great fun, great reintroduction of the franchise, but it is a love letter to George Lucas's first 2 films, particularly A New Hope. And then Rogue One, is fantastic as it is a nostalgic film. It's a war film that leads literally right up to where A New Hope begins, like seconds before. So it's still riding the coattails of the original trilogy. Rian Johnson said, that's all been fine and well, but it's time to shake the shit out of this franchise, and we're going to take this in some bold new directions. And I, for one, applaud him for it. Look, the critics right now, It's sitting at 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. They are right. This thing's an AA+. Fans seem to be a little divided on it, Bill, and I don't really look. John Campea has said it best. I don't necessarily buy into the Rotten Tomatoes audience scores anyway, because just like I gave a restaurant analogy on Twitter, imagine that. But like with restaurants, don't go to Yelp and use Yelp as your frame of reference for reviews. I can be a former ex-employee. I can just be a troll that just wants to log in and write a shitty review of a bar or restaurant. And there's no oversight of that whatsoever. There are a lot of places like Open Table, for instance, that reviews for restaurants and bars are legitimate because it's verified those people dined at those establishments. It's the same sort of thing with Rotten Tomatoes, is that anybody can just log on. Like I logged on and wrote an audience review, gave it 5 stars, but there was no verification if I had seen it or not. They had no idea. And I'm reading some of the reviews on there, like half stars. I'm like, half stars? That's ridiculous.
Same thing with Internet Movie Database. Their audience reviews, same thing. There's no
there's
confirmation or anything of that you actually saw it. So, you know, I did say this to you. I guess it was it Monday night when we talked after we had both saw it, and I said, or it might have been whenever. It was right after we saw it, and I said, is this kind of like The Dark Knight Rises in that people had certain ideas in their mind what that film was going to be, and then when it wasn't that, they were bummed out or didn't like it or so forth? And you said that was a good analogy. Was it a little bit with you in that, or do you think there's a little bit of that in the way people are reacting to it, this mixed fan opinion of the movie?
Yeah, so I do, and I think that it's funny. There's a lot of correlations, a lot of parallels in terms of myself and with Dark Knight Rises and The Last Jedi.
Yeah, you weren't a huge fan of the first viewing of Rises. You were like, yeah, I don't know if I like this or not, and then you ended up loving it, you know?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I always loved the ending. The ending was always great to me and Dark Knight Rises, but the film itself left me feeling, what was that? And I had just wasn't what I wanted. And then I saw it the very next night with you, and it was over. I was like, I get it. I love it. It's great. It's brilliant. And that's how I was with The Last Jedi. It was nothing happened. Look, Luke says in the film to Rey, this is not going to go the way that you think or something like that. Mm-hmm. Listen to Luke, because it doesn't. If you go in with these expectations, it's okay to have expectations, meaning you want a quality film. That's not what I mean. What I mean is don't go in obsessed with who Snoke is, who Rey's parents are, what Luke should be like in your head after all the, you know what I'm saying? Like those things are just have flexibility with that and have an open mind about it and really think about what the filmmakers are doing, or filmmaker really, Rian Johnson wrote and directed it. It's a beautiful film, and the critics are spot on this. It deserves its rave reviews.
Okay, fair enough. I liked it a lot. I'm going to go see it again. And I'm looking forward to the next episode. I mean, I'm not even a Star Wars guy, like, again, but I'm chomping at the bit to see how this ends. So, and we'll do. Yeah. And by the way, we'll do a podcast next. We're going to record it next Saturday.
That's
what I was about to say. Look, this is not our Star Wars
no
talk, guys. This is just me and Rick giving you a quick take on after we saw it. But Rick is going to host the official, is that what we're going to call it? The official
Last Jedi
review show on a podcast. So tell folks about that, and then we'll talk a little Batman.
Well, it'll be a little tricky. We were actually going to do it this weekend, but we said we want to unleash. We don't want to hold back. We want to talk about everything in the film completely. We're going all out on spoilers, and so I wanted us to wait a week so we could do that, give everybody an opportunity to see it, and quite frankly, I wanted everybody on the panel to see it at least twice as well. So Paul Herman is returning, and Zaki Hassan, and then myself, Ryan, and Justin, and we will knock it out next Saturday. It's going to be a little weird because that'll be the 23rd, so it's basically coming out over like Christmas weekend. But while you're cooking dinner for family or whatever, give it a listen. It's going to be a great show for sure.
I really like our Star Wars shows on Batman on Film, so
yeah, those are cool.
I'm looking forward to it as a fan of the Batman on Film podcast and these little satellite shows. I'm looking forward to listening to that show, Rick. So Thumbs up for me. I'm excited to listen to it.
I want to take this opportunity to thank our listeners for supporting these satellite shows. We weren't really sure how people were going to respond to them. A lot of people were saying, "This is a Batman show. What are you guys doing talking about Star Wars?" And I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, man, because you can get a chicken sandwich at Burger King, dude. That's why. But we just wanted to branch out. And sometimes, look, we're not going to be able to talk about Batman every weekend. I'm sure we could review every comic book, every animated. There's always things we can do. We're going to certainly fill in a lot of that into 2018. But these satellite shows are just fun, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
fun.
the Rocky show was a lot of fun. People love that. But the Star Wars thing has really kind of took off, and so now it's like its own little satellite. I mean, we've done 6 or 7 of these already. We're not.
Yeah. And
we're
more coming. That's
more coming.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Han Solo's in May, and Episode 9, and Obi-Wan Solo film, and spinoff new trilogy by Rian Johnson, et cetera, et cetera. These aren't going anywhere, so hope you guys like them.
Okay, a little Batman on film. This week,
is that what this is?
Yes, this is Batman on film. So we are going to talk a little bit of Batman right now. I'm like, yes, Cape Crusader. I got this classic Batman logo on. Also,
okay.
Where are you? Yeah, representing Dallas Cowboys. Okay. I'm liking, to me, this is like 2008, and it's, after Batman and Robin. I'm that level fired up for banging the drum, if you will, for better Batman movies, for better DC movies going forward. Now, we're in a similar position. Rick, would you agree? I mean, look, the last DC movie, which I'm not going to name because we're doing our best not to beat that dead horse, but I mean, it's better. It's better than Batman and Robin, but we're in a similar position when it comes to Batman on film, when it comes to DC on film, as we were 20 years ago. Would you agree or disagree, or what's your take on that?
I think there's some similarities. I think obviously it's in a much better position, but there's definitely similarities. We have a toxic Batman right now.
Yes. Okay. So, and we know that Matt Reeves is writing and will hopefully, fingers crossed, eventually direct a solo Batman film. What it will be, we have no idea. Will it be a reboot completely? Will it be just a Batman Forever-ish type of soft reboot when they just slip another actor in and the aesthetics are different? Or maybe it's a prequel. I have no idea. I have thoughts about that. I'm kind of leaning toward reboot this whole MFR and let's start from scratch. That's kind of where I'm at now. I'm definitely over Ben Affleck. I want a new actor in the role regardless, and I think that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. But here's the thing. I wrote a piece this last week, and I'm like, as a Batman fan, hell, I'll take a Batman movie every year. But that's unreasonable and unrealistic. But are we getting into a point, Rick, where we're getting a little bit of Batman overkill? I mean, The Dark Knight Rises was five years ago. Almost going on 6 going into next year. And we've had 2 Batman films, essentially. Batman vs. Superman and Justice League.
And you can even kind of count Suicide Squad if you want to throw that in.
Throw in Suicide Squad with that cameo. Since then, I mean, we had and so I'm like, should we tap the brakes a little bit and maybe give Batman Batman on film time to breathe? Because I'm worried about overkill. I'm worried about oversaturation till we get to the point where people are not excited about seeing a Batman on film or Batman film any longer. What's your whole take on that?
Yeah, I think that you said it best the other day. You said, you were on Twitter and you said it's time for this to be an event again.
That's exactly.
And I couldn't agree more. And dare I say what I think you mean by that is, look, we're not going to ever get a phenomenon like we did with Batman '89. The Dark Knight came close.
Yeah.
It came close. But just in terms of it just blowing up and being everywhere, Batman '89 was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight was damn close to one.
Yes, and that's going to be tough to get there again. And that's not, I'm not saying it has to be that.
Right, and that's exactly my point. It doesn't have to be that, but it needs to be an event. In other words, and I used this restaurant phrase last week or week before last, we need to have a splash. And right now, if you release a Batman film next year or even 2019 maybe, I think most people are going to go, another Batman. Here we are again. Yeah. How many actors have played Batman since Michael Keaton now? Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale.
Yes.
People are just kind of over it. But you wait a couple of years, let it breathe. Let people get Batman fever again. They start itching for a Batman movie.
Yeah.
Let a couple of kids the generation kids that are like 8 or 9, let those kids get to be 10 or 11, the ones that will go see these films. Let a new generation kind of, what I'm saying? Like, let's make it an event, and by doing so, it'll create the proper buzz around it, and then the film can live or die on its own. But let's not kill it in the cradle, man.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions on Twitter. When do you think we're going to see Matt Reeves' Batman film? 2019, 2020. I'm like, need to tap those brakes on 2019. I mean, we're about to be 2018, and this dude is only working. He's just putting the story together. Okay, I mean that's where they're at. They're in story phase. I don't know even how much script he's got done. I mean, he's far from pre-production on this thing. So that's it's going to be a 2-year project once the script is done. I mean, it's a 2-year thing altogether. So
2021 start filming it.
2021, is that will be 4 years after is my Texas math right, Rick? Yeah, 17, 21, 4 years after Justice League. That's what I'm talking about. Let's give it at least 4. I don't mind if it's 5 years. Now, I don't think I want to do the 8-year thing again, like we had between Batman and Robin and Batman Begins. But 4. Look, we had 4 years between Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, and that was the same Batman, same universe, same story. So we can wait at least 4 years for another interpretation, another version of Batman on film. No?
Yes. Let it die a little bit,
Yeah.
Just let it. We need a splash, and you throw Jake Gyllenhaal on there and you release a movie in 2019. I just feel like it's just gonna, whether it's a prequel or a reboot, I feel like people are gonna be like, what is this? Just one more year. So it's not that long, but in terms of audience members' attention spans and everything, like I think it could benefit from taking a long break.
Yeah.
We need it to be where people aren't going on another reboot. And there's going to be a faction of people that still say that, whether you do one in 2025. And some people might say, are you guys splitting hairs? You're talking about the difference of 1 year. And we are, and maybe we are splitting hairs a little bit. But it's a feeling I have. I just feel like that's probably the best route for them to take.
Here's the argument I get from people, and it's a fair point. They'll say, well, Spider-Man Homecoming was the 3rd reboot of Spider-Man, and it did very well. I mean, it was reviewed well. Did 334.2 million domestic. It did 880 million worldwide. That's good numbers. I mean, if a solo Batman film could do that, I'm sure they'd get a conga line going in Burbank around Warner Brothers Studios. But I think what they had going for it, Spider-Man, and this reboot, this second reboot, 3rd iteration of the character on film, was that it was part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Exactly.
And they were able to ride those coattails. I mean, you had Robert Downey Jr. in it as Iron Man, and small role, and they connected it to Captain America: Civil War. So you had that. Yeah, you had that. You don't have this with Batman.
Completely different.
Yeah. What's your take on that argument?
No, it's completely. I mean, I respect the argument.
I get
don't mean
it.
to be,
and
not
it's
to be
fair.
condescending. It's fair. I think it's misguided, though. And the reason I say that is because regardless of what you think about this extended DC universe, you like it, love it, whatever, it doesn't matter. Doesn't have the good mojo with mainstream audiences that Marvel has. People care to see Tony Stark. They love Civil War. Civil War is where he was this, where did he make his cameo? Was it Civil War?
No, he was full blown in Civil War. Who? Oh, Spider-Man. Oh,
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War,
Okay.
because that whole beginning ties into that cameo in Civil War of
Hey,
Homecoming.
Underoos. Hey, Underoos.
Yeah.
So, all right. So there's goodwill attached to it, and and there's a reason why Robert Downey Jr. was used in the marketing, and on top of that, it was an exceptional Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you disagree with that. It's your opinion, but damn it, that's the best Spider-Man movie since Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, not Amazing Spider-Man. I don't like the Amazing Spider-Man films. I don't even really particularly like Sam Raimi's original film, to be honest with you. I don't watch it. William Dafoe is just not a fan. But
I like the original Spider-Man. But yeah, Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2 is exceptional.
When I make my list of top Spider-Man or top comic book films, Spider-Man 2 is up there. But I liked Homecoming a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
2002 was fun because for me, as Spider-Man 2 came out, Star Wars Episode 2, there were some cool films. But threw a little prequel love in there. But when I watched Spider-Man 2 in the theater, I remember going, this is not what I expected. I thought it was just going to be a carry-on. So anyway, Spider-Man Homecoming, I had that same feeling for the first time since Spider-Man 2. Going, a filmmaker gets it, and this is Spider-Man. So it had goodwill, and it was an exceptional film, had great reviews. We know the studio was confident in that movie. Bill, in the 10, 15, whatever press screenings I've gone to over the last couple of years, I have never seen a film that was so far away from its release date as I had Spider-Man. Most of the time, it's like the Monday or Tuesday before. That Spider-Man screening, dude, was like it was like the week before.
Yeah, and it was
like literally I saw it 7-8 days early.
Yeah,
and
the embargo. I mean, you could post your review immediately. I mean, so
they knew they had something on their hands. So to squash that analogy, with all due respect, it is not the same thing. Right now, you have a Batman that's mainstream audiences haven't loved a Batman since Christian Bale, and that's the fact of the matter. It's not right.
It's not us being Nolanites and loving, and pouring out love onto that trilogy just because we're huge fans of it. That was the magic, and that was the thing about those films, was that you cared about that Batman. You cared about him. You were invested in Bruce. In fact, let me say this way: you're invested in Bruce Wayne. You're invested in Bruce Wayne.
The Dark Knight Rises did $1.2 billion, and Christian Bale was wearing the Batman costume for like 3 minutes of that movie. You know what I mean? Like, it was a Bruce Wayne story,
and it's
still did
and it still made over $1 billion.
It still made $1 billion, right?
Not to get off on a Dark Knight trilogy tangent,
and great reviews to boot.
Yeah.
So we need that again. That's what we need again. We've said this before.
Yes,
Let's get a Batman. Let's get a Batman on film, in cinema, in the theaters, that is better than Chris Nolan's Batman films, and that can be done. It can absolutely be done, and it will be done. And let's get an actor in there that we all sit there and go, shit, Jake Gyllenhaal or whoever. Best Batman ever.
Yeah.
Damn. I want that.
Yes.
I want that.
That's what I'm talking about here. I want that. I want to be excited.
And the splash Batman stuff. Just merchandise and everybody's talking about it, and Batman's back. That's what we need. Batman needs to be back. He needs to make a splash, and I think that just taking a break that's step one.
Okay.
Step one, let Matt Reeves do what the hell he wants, and put an actor in there that
can act his ass off.
That can act his ass off and isn't. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. So Warner Brothers, if you're listening, and I know you are, don't rush this thing, man. Don't rush Matt Reeves. Don't rush the Batman or whatever in the hell it's going to be called. Let's get to that point again like we had just a few years ago, where there's excitement for a Batman film, and people are can't wait to get there, and there's buzz, and there's the Bat logo everywhere, and that's just so cool, and I want to get that again. That's the whole point of it, and I understand there's the fan in me, which I've got to shut that out, because to say, yeah, I can wait 5 years. I can wait 5 years. It may be better for the character if we wait 5 years instead of just rushing this thing out, get it to 2019 or whenever, even 20, and just to have a Batman film out. No, that's not the way to do it. Not in my opinion. All right. So if you want to read more of my thoughts on that, check Batman on Film proper. I have the full op-ed where I go into detail. I even did a little bit of more of that Texas math. Rick, I even took it. I did some averaging. Can you believe that? I took some numbers and averaged them.
What'd you get? Well, what did you find?
I just
not the math, but what did you find in yourself that you have the ability to do that?
Yes, I was just. I was surprised myself. I was very proud, sir. Don't bum out my proudness here. You
finally learned to carry that one, dude.
I did. Damn it. I did. All right.
Decimals are a bitch, aren't they?
Yes. All right. So, Rick, you got anything to plug, man?
Yeah, so I have a new Left Shoe Politics podcast up. It's only like 25 minutes. It was an emergency show that Zachy Hassan, just the two of us, did. We just talked about the Alabama Senate runoff upset with Roy Moore. So you can find that on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, or just go to leftshoepolitics.com, and I have a link to all the podcasts there as well. And then the Last Jedi review show will be next Saturday, like we said. Go see The Last Jedi. Go see it. Don't come to me on Twitter. Give me your opinion on The Last Jedi until you see it twice.
What's your just real quick? What's your engagements on Twitter? What have they been like when it came to that film? Are they contentious, or is there just a lot of good debate, or what's the overall?
There are some fair complaints. I had many of them on Monday, and look, you may see this movie 5 times and may love Star Wars and not like this film. That's going to happen, right? That's fine. That's fair. All I'm saying is that I think a lot of what some of the mixed fan reaction is because it just wasn't what they expected. Let that go in with a clear mind, see it twice, see if that changes your mind. It may not. You may say at the end of this, that's not Luke, that's not what I wanted for whatever. But I'm telling you, it is. I don't even know where it ranks right now because I've seen it twice. I've seen every other Star Wars film minimum 20 times. I freaking love it. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a gorgeous film.
The Luke stuff was awesome in that movie. I'm just saying.
If awesome. Mark Hamill doesn't start getting some serious offers after this, that'll be criminal. Like, I want to see him have a career that he's never had. I want Tarantino to put him in his next film. I want Scorsese to put him in a film. Like, Mark Hamill in The Last Jedi is awesome.
All right. Okay. So, Twitter. Come on.
Shewrick, SHEWRICK. Oh, but I will say one more thing in terms of Twitter engagement. The people that don't like the film, that are putting up their critique of it, assuming they're not being just assholes, there is a difference in being passionate and just being ridiculous. But come on, man, let's not shut them down or tell them to shut up or they're stupid. Like, they have every right to express that. We went through the same thing with some of these films with DCU. You say that you don't like BVS very much, and all of a sudden you're a subhuman asshole. Let's not be that way with people, man. Let them express their opinions, agree or disagree.
Yeah. It's a great point. Great point.
But obviously, let's just all remember that they're movies, and they're going to affect us differently. And I know that Star Wars is a passionate franchise. I know that we were passionate about it. But that's all I got, man. Let's just try to be cool.
Is there someone on the panel on the podcast who is not liking it? That would be interesting. I would just
Well, I'll say this: Zachy saw it. He and I talked on Monday as well, or at least we were texting after the press screening. He saw it in San Francisco, and he liked it. There were a lot of problems with it, and his review sort of reflects that. He saw it again. And his review changed. Paul has a lot of problems right now. I think Paul's torn. Okay. Doesn't really know what to think right now because he doesn't like that. He doesn't love it yet, and he may not. So it'll be interesting to see where he's at by Saturday because he'll see it 2 or 3 times since then. Wow. And Justin sees it tonight. and Ryan likes it and is looking forward to seeing it again.
It's going to be an interesting show then. It sounds
Yeah.
like. Looking forward to it. Okay. You can follow me on Twitter at Batman on Film. Also, we have a new Facebook group, not the Facebook fan page for Batman on Film, but a group that kind of works like a message board. So if you would like to join that, it is a private group. Just go to Batman on Film proper and or on Twitter. I'll send out the link again. You're able to engage and post and discuss things like you can't do at on the Batman on Film Facebook fan page. And also a big thanks to all of our Patreon supporters. Appreciate it, because really, I mean, a lot going on, and that's really helping out with the funding. Costs a little bit to do this. And if you would like to contribute, patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm, and Batman on Film 2.0 in 2018. I mean, like 2 weeks. I was working on it this morning, actually. I'm starting to load some stuff up. Yeah, loading some stuff up. All right. So for Rick,
subscribe to our YouTube channel, please.
Yeah,
right,
wherever it is. Where is it? Somewhere.
Yes. Here.
Yes. Do that as well. Also for Rick, I am Bill. Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive,
and the dadgum original, and may the force be with you.